And good morning, good afternoon, wherever you are. I'm Jed Roberts. I'm a CEO and leadership team coach. I've been working with CEOs and leadership teams for over 10 years now, showing them how to get the most from their business and their lives. So, about 7, 8 months ago, I released a book called Growth with Confidence: The 10 Business Challenges That Block Confident Growth. And what I wanted to do in this video, relatively short video, is just go over that book literally chapter by chapter, because those 10 business challenges are the challenges that I see day to day, week to week, month to month when I work with my CEO clients. And just going through those challenges might actually help you understand where you're blocked in your business. Now, understanding where you're blocked is the first step into understanding how to get those barriers down, how to break those barriers down so that you can start getting what you want from your business and your life. Now, I didn't want to write a business book that was filled with theoretical concepts. So, this book is a practical and battle tested guide to real world experiences and proven strategies. In this video, we're going to break down those 10 challenges, giving you a clear roadmap for building a business that not only achieves impressive growth, but also does so with genuine ease, remarkable speed, and most importantly, unwavering confidence. Okay, let's dive straight into the 10 key challenges. As I mentioned earlier, these are the 10 challenges that I see again and again in the leadership teams that I work with. So, challenge number one: your leadership team isn't 100% A players. Now, in a slightly contrarian way, I called the first chapter, It's the Team Stupid. Now, that's an emotive title, and it's an emotive title intentionally because this literally is the first thing that businesses get wrong. This is a do not pass go type of question. If you don't deal with this first, then pretty much anything else is pretty much doomed to failure. So you need to get your team comprised entirely of A players. Now, what do I mean by an A player? Now, an A player is someone who consistently exceeds performance expectations, but is also truly deeply aligned to your company's core values and your overarching culture. So ask yourselves these tough questions. If one of your leaders received a competing offer today, would you passionately fight to keep them on the team? And perhaps even more telling, the next question is, would you enthusiastically rehire every single leader on your leadership team without hesitation? If you can't honestly answer yes to both of those questions, then it's time to have some very candid conversations and potentially make some difficult but necessary changes. So, chapter one, it's the team stupid. It's a do not pass go question. Okay, let's move on to chapter two: lack of clarity about expectations. Now, it might seem incredibly basic, but the reality is that most people in business simply don't know what is expected of. No one has sat them down and been super clear about the expectations of their role and the outcomes of that role. So in chapter two, most people in business don't know what's expected of them. Crystal clear expectations are absolutely non-negotiable for a high-performing organization. So every single team member, from the most senior executive to the newest entry-level employee, needs to have a deep and unambiguous understanding of their specific accountabilities, their specific individual targets, their daily, weekly, monthly priorities. When expectations are vague or poorly communicated, performance inevitably suffers, and that is where frustration quickly sets in. Let me tell you a story that illustrates this one exactly. So I was talking to a CEO who was getting frustrated with his COO. And he was telling me that the COO just wasn't really doing what he expected him to do. He was really busy, he was doing lots of stuff, but not necessarily what the CEO expected him to. So I just asked a simple question: have you told him what you expect him to be working on? And the CEO looked at me in a puzzled way and said, well, shouldn't he know? Now, communication by osmosis doesn't work. Unless you are super clear on what you expect people to do, then they just don't understand that. There's no way of them understanding what you expect them to do. So be super clear across targets, across priorities, against outcomes of job specifications, against outcomes of functional accountabilities. Super clear across all aspects of the business. Let's move on to chapter three: unclear vision and direction. So let me ask you a straightforward question. Does anyone in your business know exactly where you're going? So in chapter 3, does anyone know where we're going? We dive down deep into this particular topic. Without a clear and compelling vision that is clearly articulated, your company is essentially a ship sailing aimlessly without a course and without a rudder, being tossed in different directions by every passing wave. As a leader, it's your fundamental responsibility to define a bold and inspiring vision for the future, and then communicate that vision relentlessly and consistently to every member of your organization. Then you need to over-communicate it again and again. This shared vision provides a sense of purpose, aligns efforts, and empowers everyone to move in the same direction with unwavering focus. You have to set a clear and unwavering vision for the future. So challenge 4. Let's move on to chapter 4 on my book, which is essentially about the failure to set clear long, medium, and short-term goals. So in A Goal is a Goal, right? This chapter talks about what we need to fuel progress and sustain motivation. So you need to set ambitious yet realistically achievable goals that span the long term, the midterm, and the short term horizons. So where do we want to be in 3 years' time? A description of where we want the business to be. And then what do we need to achieve over the year and over the 90 days, the short term? These goals act as both as a compass guiding your overall strategy and a powerful engine driving daily actions and fostering a culture of continuous improvement. At each annual and quarterly meeting, we reset the priorities that we're going to be focused on over the year and over the quarter. So we always have a plan into the future over the 90 days and over the 12 months. Let's move straight on to challenge number 5. Challenge number 5 is all about the numbers, and it's about the reluctance to set clear targets. So in this chapter, we have to count what. Because what gets measured gets managed, plain and simple. In chapter 5, we talk about the necessity to establish clear, measurable targets to rigorously track progress and foster a strong sense of accountability throughout the organization. Now, these targets provide essential data, enabling you to identify what's working effectively and also to pinpoint areas that require improvement. Once we know what we should measure, and once we know what we can measure, and once we know what we are measuring, it helps us improve our measurement of our performance over time. And it helps us to make informed decisions to optimize performance at all levels. So chapters 4 and chapters 5 talk about setting goals and setting clear targets over the medium term and the short term. Let's move on to challenge 6, ineffective meetings. So this chapter is called Why Your Meetings Suck. Why do they suck? Well, I'll tell you why. It's because they're poorly planned, poorly executed, and often a colossal waste of valuable time. In this chapter, I show you how meetings should be laser focused, highly productive, and above all else, a valuable use of everyone's time. Implement clearly defined agendas that don't vary from the same type of meeting. It's a daily agenda, weekly agenda, monthly agenda, quarterly agenda. And circulate these well in advance so that everyone knows what they are there to do, and relentlessly focus on driving decisions and getting actionable outcomes. Eliminate unproductive meetings, and you'll immediately unlock significant gains in both efficiency and morale. If your meetings suck, it's because you're doing them wrong. Challenge 7, lack of clarity on the market and your core customer. Let me be blunt. Can you win if you don't know your market and your core customer? Absolutely not. In this chapter, we'll talk about developing an encyclopedic knowledge of your target market, understanding its dynamics, trends, and the competitive landscape with unparalleled depth. Furthermore, you must cultivate an intimate understanding of your core customer, knowing their needs, their desires, and their pain points, knowing who's going to come back to you and buy from you again, who's going to be prepared to pay your premium that you charge because they love what you do, who is going to refer you to others because they love what you do. You need to have a detailed understanding of who they are and then where you can go and find them. If you know where to find your core customer, you can go and find more of them. More core customers means more referrals, means more customers who are prepared to pay your premium. Challenge number 8, not being truly differentiated. In today's hyper-competitive marketplace, simply being good enough is a recipe for mediocrity. Being really different is hard, but it's essential. In this chapter, Being Really Different is Hard, we'll talk about how you can absolutely not afford to be just another Me Too business blending in with the crowd. You must relentlessly seek out and define your value proposition, your unique value proposition. That special something that sets you apart from the competition and provides compelling reasons for customers to choose you. In this chapter, we'll show you how you can identify your white space and then select 3 to 5 differentiators that will allow you to populate that white space so no one else can come close. Challenge number 9 is about no clear quarter-on-quarter plan. And the plan is not just financial. It's financial and the things that you need to do, the numbers that you need to hit. So success doesn't happen by accident. It's the result of meticulous planning and disciplined execution. You absolutely must map out your strategy with clearly defined milestones, specific dollar targets, and measurable widget goals for at least 3 years out. In this chapter, map out your strategy, milestones, dollars, and widgets 3 years out. You develop a comprehensive plan that outlines those milestones, the revenue targets, and the metrics that you need to hit for at least the next 3 years, broken down quarter by quarter, all of which leads back to cash. If you understand what your cash is 3 years out, you can then start planning for what you need to do to be able to build that cash balance. Having that cash in bank gives you options. It allows you to make decisions that other companies that don't have the same level of cash cannot make. Now, the last challenge is the lack of a brand promise and guarantee. That is, and guarantee. In today's trust-starved world, strong brand promise is more critical than ever. In this chapter, we'll talk about why a brand promise has to hurt. Your brand promise is more than just a catchy slogan. It's a solemn vow to your customers, a clear articulation of what they can expect from every interaction with your company. Back up that promise with a rock-solid guarantee that demonstrates your unwavering confidence in your product or service and assures your customers that you're fully committed to their satisfaction. You only implement this once you are 100% confident that your strategy and execution is aligned, because you have to pay out on that guarantee. It's going to hurt. Now, payout you may have to do, but making sure that your strategy and execution is 100% aligned means that that is going to be a minimal impact on the company. But you should pay out if you need to. Okay, so we've gone through the 10 challenges. Now, how do we actually overcome them and unlock confident growth? The first step is simply acknowledging that these challenges exist within your organization. From there, it's all about implementing targeted systems and establishing clear processes and fostering a culture that drives accountability, encourages collaboration, ensures that every team member is fully aligned to your overall strategic objectives. Now, you could do this by yourself. You could take this book and a bunch of other books and work through, and over time, you could probably work out how to do it yourself. But doing it like that is slower and it's harder, and you'll have less confidence that you're doing the right things. Work with a coach who will help you make it easier and faster and with more confidence. You go further, faster with a coach.